Hey guys, y'all know the routine by now. We're gonna wait and see if some people come in. I've got quite a few things for today. In my 5x5. Awesome. Hey Ghetto, how are you? Boy, I got Lewis for. I'm doing good. It seems like I've run late for everything today. I had an appointment this morning to get some more glasses, and I was running late due to the weather. And I was time crunching for the live. I see they've had some more earthquakes up there off the coast. I see that. That's just, it's strange to me. I'm not saying the government's doing it, but we ain't necessarily sure that they ain't either. It really has. And that worries me. I know it shouldn't, but it does. I actually pulled up on my King James version of the Bible. Hey, Von Eric, how are you? You know, I try not to get too much into the religion side of it, but, you know, sitting back and thinking about all these earthquakes, the volcanoes going off, and, you know, the floods and everything else that, you know, I remembered a couple of biblical verses. All right. We're right at 6 minutes in, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Y'all jump in at whenever you want. You know, I don't mind. All right. In the 24th chapter of Matthew, you know, Jesus is at the temple and he goes out and the disciples follow him out, you know, and they're pointing out, you know, the buildings and how beautiful the temple is and whatnot. And as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And y'all all know that, you know, we've had plenty of people coming claiming to be Jesus Christ. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Okay, you got the thing with Russia and Ukraine. You've got the thing with China and Taiwan, Israel and Syria. You know, and that's just few. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Got just discussed China, NATO, and all that, and then you got famines. You know, famines is loss of food, the loss of crops. You know, look at what China's doing. You know, they're buying up our farmlands. Pestilences. Okay, that's various diseases. You know, we got the whole coof thing going. And something else that's been bothering me, you know, we had the discovery of the tall pox in a place it wasn't supposed to be. You know, it was reported on for a couple of days and then boom, nothing else on it. Where there was only 2 vials that was supposed to be, one in Russia and one in Atlanta at the CDC. But it was found at Merck in Pennsylvania. And I'm going to do some digging on the whole Merck thing and hopefully get it posted tomorrow. I've got several videos that I'm wanting to do that, you know, is not going to be live. It's just going to be taped. So, you know, like I said, that'll make you think. Hey, Miss Virginia, how are you? We just kind of getting started, Miss Virginia. I was reading out of the Bible about the wars and rumors of wars and the pestilences and the earthquakes. All right, I'm fixing to turn my camera around so y'all can see my laptop and kind of give y'all a little visual aid so y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, can y'all see that? Let me see if I can increase here. I can't read the chat right now. Okay. You see up here. Nobody ever wants to call me until I'm on a stream. You see up here, you got all the earthquakes off the coast of Alaska, Oregon. Ghetto, and I was talking about that there's over 50, and the last one was a 4.7. They've had several um 5 pointers and a little over. Nothing quite, as high as 6. I think the largest was a 5.8. And we've had several earthquakes today, even up in Alaska. Uh, East southeast of McCarthy, Alaska, was a 2.6. And then you've got this one. What was this at? It's Petrolia, California, and it was a 4.0. And then you've got 2 more here in California. Then you have this one that was in Idaho, Stanley, Idaho. It's a 2.8, and it was 29 kilometers northwest of Stanley, Ohio. I'm still learning this map, so y'all kind of overlook me. And then you have one that was 5 kilometers west southwest of Gypsum, Arkansas, Kansas, not Arkansas. Lord help me. Then you've got 2. One was in New Mexico. It was south of White City, and it was a 3.0. Then you have one over here in Texas that was a 2.6. 31 kilometers southwest of Coyanoso, I guess is how you would say that. And what I mean by diverse places, how often do you actually hear of, the earthquake on the East Coast? You got one 2.5 at the Tennessee North Carolina border region. I mean, the New Madrid fault's like right in, you know, Indiana and all those states, and New Madrid, it goes off. We're in really, really big trouble. But I wanted to show y'all that. I'm gonna turn the camera back around. Oh no, Virginia. They really are sketchy. Um, especially, the Ring of Fire is well known for earthquakes. And, but still, this many going off this close together, combined with the volcanoes, isn't good. I talked to y'all about the volcanic emissions and all going up into the atmosphere. It pulls down our climate. Hang on a sec. Is that better? Ghetto, I gotta say it. You know, I like to get around. I don't have a wife. But I know what you're saying. I couldn't put my Bluetooth in. Um, but the earthquakes really are sketchy. You know, we have the government messing with our weather. I needed that last today, Ghetto. I really needed it. Um, a little off topic, but my stepmom had to rush my dad to the emergency room last night. Um, he's been having problems with his legs and his back, and he could barely move. But they get into the emergency room, and you know they have to take blood pressure and vitals and whatnot. And they took his blood pressure and told him that his BP was low, you know, way low, and they didn't want to check him for his back and his legs and why he couldn't move. So my stepmom, I said, or I asked her, I said, do I need to go to the emergency room? Because I don't play when it comes to my daddy and my youngin. But anyway, topic. But he did come, and he's still waiting to hear back from his doctor. He's probably gonna have to get shot. But boy, oh boy, don't we love our Congress? U.S. Congress allows Saudi Arabia weapons sale to proceed. A bipartisan bid to block the $650 million sale of missiles and missile launchers has failed in the U.S. Senate. The United States Senate has blocked a resolution that would have banned a $650 million sale of missiles and missile launchers to Saudi Arabia. Thank you, Ghetto. He's hopefully be okay. Hopefully they can, excuse me, you know, get it worked out. He may have to have surgery next year. They're still doing tests. They want him to get another shot before they, you know, have to have surgery. They don't want to do surgery unless they have to. The sale was approved by the administration of Potato Head in November. It is the first major arms deal between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia since Potato Head took office in January of this year. The chamber on Tuesday voted 67-30 against the resolution, which represented the latest attempt by legislators to attempt to block U.S. weapons transfers to Saudi Arabia over its involvement in the continuing war in Yemen. It had been introduced by Republicans Mike Lee and Rand Paul, as well as Bernie Sanders, and the independent who caucuses with Democrats. In a speech on Tuesday, Sanders said exporting more missiles to Saudi Arabia does nothing but further this conflict and pour more gasoline on an already raging fire. I agree, Miss Virginia. I really do. And, you know, anytime we sell weapons to somebody, it comes back to bite us in the ass. Pardon my French. But it really does. a military coalition assembled by Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates intervened in Yemen's conflict in 2015 in support of President Abd Rabbu Mansour Hadi, internationally recognized government shortly after the Houthis took control of the capital, Sana'a. Both sides have been accused of committing atrocities over 7 years of fighting, resulting in an estimated 233,000 deaths and 5 million people on the brink of famine. There's that word again, famine. We could stop this war if we really had the will to do it, Paul said on the Senate floor. All of America should be appalled at the humanitarian disaster caused by the Saudi blockade of Yemen. And, he's right. We should, be appalled by it. Other than our Civil War and, the September thing, the 11th thing, whatever you want to call it, we've never fought, and which technically that wasn't a war, but we've never fought a war other than the Civil War and the Revolutionary War on our turf. So these people need to stop and realize. And I actually have a quote I'm going to read y'all at the end. I agree, Miss Virginia. I really do. I mean, they're hiding so much from us. To the point where it's not even, I mean, it's never been funny, but it really isn't funny anymore. As patriots, I think it's time for us to take a stand. Our Constitution states that we have the right to overthrow the government. And I probably shouldn't say that on here, but the truth's the truth. Just like I said, the whole Tallpox thing, has been swept under the rug. What's going on with that? What happened to our promised transparency? Putin says Russia will follow up fast after Ukraine call with Biden. And that's something I believe that we should honestly stay out of, but I don't think NATO is going to allow us to. Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Wednesday that Russia would send ideas to Washington in a week to follow up his talks with potatoes on the Ukraine crisis. Neither side spoke of a breakthrough after the 2-hour video call, but they agreed to keep talking about what the Kremlin called this complex confrontational situation. We agreed we will continue this discussion and we'll do it in a substantive way. We will exchange our ideas in the very near future. Russia will draw its ideas literally in the coming days. Within a week, we will give this to the U.S. side to consider, Putin told reporters. The two leaders used Tuesday's call to set out their opposing positions on Ukraine, says it's braced for a possible invasion by tens of thousands of Russian troops close to its borders. I've seen on video on YouTube earlier that we already have troops at the border in Ukraine. NATO already has troops over there at the border in Ukraine. And I mean, I understand the need or the want to stand up for, another country, but we can't even, control our own country. So why do we need to be in someone else's war? Because these people's not going to come to our aid. So much for being you know, so much for being one of the strongest countries in the world. We need to sweep around our own back door before we sweep around anybody else's. I agree, Miss Virginia. I totally agree. Um, Last night I received word from military contact that we've all seen the videos of others, um, not others, excuse me, of our troops and all, moving military equipment around the country. And the guy, in a roundabout way, confirmed that this is true. He can't say what, and he couldn't, come straight out and say it. But we know this guy well enough to know, what he was saying without him directly saying it. And if we're moving our troops around within our own borders, what are they preparing for? Let's see. Oh, this is on Raccoon. The U.S. Senate was expected to vote on Wednesday on a Republican measure to upend the potato head 19, injection mandate for private businesses, a move that appeared to have enough support from Democrats to succeed. I know good and well. Readers ain't gonna let me upload the whole thing, even though I subscribed. So serious. I agree, Ghetto. I really agree. I think a lot of the, I, some of it's a thing, but I do believe we're on the brink of war. I really do. Like it was said on Tribe um, Live last night, it's the beginning of birth and pain. I really believe that. Um, the accuser in, that very big trial going on. Agreed, Ghetto. I agree. And they're still trying to divide us. One of the accusers. Can you hear me now, Ghetto? Good deal. One of the accusers in that big trial going on now, started testifying earlier this week. I think this is one of the things that they're trying to, get us to forget, because there's so many people that is going to be um, implemented in this. You have actors, or I should say entertainers, because it's both male and female. You have, elected officials, just all kinds of people. And this accuser that was testifying, she was 14 years old at the time. And the woman that's on trial, she said that she told her that she had a great body for the businessman and his friends. I'm trying to figure a way to dance around it. But, if something like that happened to one of my girls, I'd probably be in prison for murder. That's something that I don't play with. All right. All right. Ghetto, you was talking about floods yesterday. This comes from the Washington Post. First fires, now floods. British Columbia and Washington reeling from atmospheric river. And this was back in November. You know, hey, Miss Minnie, how are you? I know you was talking about Hawaii yesterday, Ghetto. And I think I looked at video coverage and, read up on it. And, flood is not something to play with. It destroys farmland, it destroys cities, not to mention we can easily lose our lives in it. But first they baked and then they burned, and now they're inundated. It was talking about the Pacific Northwest, and you know, they claiming climate disasters. You know, everything is not climate related. I understand that the emissions from power plants and the vehicles and whatnot, does have an effect on the climate.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. me out for some reason. And it caused me to lose my train of thought. But I get that all of the, like I said, the climate, climate change is real. But our Earth goes through these cycles. This is nothing new for Mother Earth. Denmark, I've got pulled up restrictions for the coast, the new, what they call the new coast. On December 2nd, 2020, the head administration two measures that impact American and international visitors. The air testing protocols are stricter for international flights arriving in the U.S. Now, any traveler aged 2 or older must obtain a pre-arrival test within 1 day of flying to the U.S. The testing window changes become effective on December 6, 2021. Previously, fully jabbed passengers had up to 3 days before their United States bound flight to get tested. The requirement applies to U.S. citizens and non-citizens flying to the U.S. There currently isn't mandatory testing when coming into the U.S. from in-border crossing. And it goes on to talk about TSA, face stopper mandate, and then it talks about after travel ban. The month of November 2021 closed with the first new coast ban. So far, non-U.S. citizens cannot enter the U.S. if they have been in one of these African nations during the last 14 days. Botswana, Eswatini, Lesotho, Malawi, Mozambique, Namibia, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. With the latest, while the latest cruise was first discovered in South Africa, within South Africa, there are now confirmed cases across many countries, including the U.S. Hawaii remains only one of the 50 states to have mandatory, you have to stay at home for visitors and returning residents. Thankfully, you can still waive this requirement with jab proof or a negative pre-arrival test from the last 72 hours. The state also ended its capacity restrictions for restaurants and other businesses on December 1st, 2021. Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands territories require full jab passengers to upload proof of their jab before arriving, and that unjabbed travelers will need to obtain a negative pre-arrival test within 72 hours of arrival. Several European nations are rolling out temporary nationwide stay-at-home orders that pause tourism until mid-December 2021. Let me switch back, Miss Meany, and see if that helps. How about now? Can y'all hear me now? Good deal. More countries are also adopting the 3G rules that jabbed, recovered, and tested for entry, meaning you must either be jabbed or recently recovered and have a negative pre arrival test. Austria is currently banning tourism travel from November 22nd, 2021 to December 13th, 2021. The country also has a stay at home for non essential activities for the entire population. Once the border opens again, international visitors must show these medical documents to enter: negative pre arrival test, or proof of jab or a recent recovery. Mandatory 10-day stay at home occurs for travelers that cannot show proof. Germany is currently imposing restrictions on its unjabbed citizens for non essential indoor activities. This guidance doesn't directly impact U.S. citizens, and international travelers must be fully jabbed to visit Germany. However, the country may expand the stay at home measures to vaccinated citizens like Austria. Their nationwide restrictions only impact the unjabbed at first. If this happens, leisure travel to Germany will be held temporarily. And that was about the only ones, that I found that's really any different. So, there is some stay at home orders. So, okay, computer quit acting crazy. Yay, I'm glad. But that's just, some of the things that I wanted to bring to y'all today. Um, like I always say, we need to stay prayed up and prepped up. But I did find a quote that I wanted to read to y'all. And to me, I think, there's no, this describes, Patriots better than anything. Thank you, Miss Virginia. And I'm going to close it out with this. You're welcome, Ghetto. I'm glad y'all are here with me. I really am. But listen, Demon Rats, when true patriots decide that enough is enough, you will damn sure know it. We will live free or die. Don't tread on me. Y'all have a good evening. And I'll see y'all later. Please be sure to hit that like button on your way out. Feel free to share out the videos and leave comments. Thank you, Miss Virginia. Y'all have a good evening, guys. I'm sure I'll see y'all out there. Much love, Miss Independent Meanie. See you later, Ghetto, Miss Virginia, Miss Minnie, and Von Eric. I love you guys.